All right, you're here. It's a Thursday, so you know what that means. Time for Thursday Tunes. So today I'm going to be talking about a group that I recently discovered. They released an EP back in May, and that EP is being released in preparation for their third album. So they've released music before, but they're very much new on my radar, and that group is HAIM. It's spelled HAIM. It's a group composed of three sisters. There are Estee, Danielle, and Alana, and that's like the order that they were born in. And so these three sisters have this like kind of pop rock group, but I feel like, at least from what I've listened to in their EP, I haven't gone and listened to all their albums yet, but from what I've listened to in their EP, they actually blend a lot of styles into their music. So some of it sounds very poppy, some of it sounds more like classic rock a little bit. Some of it sounds more like folk music, and then in other times you can hear like R&B elements, electronic elements. So I think they do a very, very good job of blending in a lot of genres to kind of create something that's genreless and kind of feels new. And this specific, not album, but EP that I'm going to be talking about is called Don't Wanna. So as I said, it's kind of the lead up to their upcoming album. I think 3 of the songs were released already as part of like the album rollout, and then the other 3 songs, I guess, are going to be bonus songs on the album itself. So just a little bit more background about the group. So there's the 3 sisters. As I said, Estee plays the bass usually. Danielle, who's the second born, usually plays guitars and like takes the lead on vocals. And then there's Alana, who's the youngest. She usually plays the drums, but from what I understand, they all, even though like they all have a primary instrument, they all kind of dabble in the other instruments as well. So if you like ever look at like the track listings for some of the songs and look at who's playing the instruments, several of them may be playing the same instrument on the song. And then also they tend to do a lot of harmonizing. So even though Danielle is like the primary voice you hear, you can hear the other ones singing at times as well, or they're harmonizing together to sing the same part of the song. So just going to start off with kind of give you an overall idea of what I think of this. So if you do go out and listen to it, you may think like I can't picture Elliott listening to this and enjoying it, but I really do like it a lot. It's something that I think will have a lot of replay value to me, and just kind of broad strokes. The songs that are on here, the themes of the songs kind of remind me of a rom-com, which I don't like rom-coms at all, which is like even more perplexing of why I like this. But the themes of the song talk about kind of love loss, breaking up, like falling for someone who isn't into you, and those type of things, which are very much like right in line with the type of content and the type of themes that rom-coms hit on. And I should take a step back and talk about how I came across this group, since I said like at the outset it seems like something I wouldn't like. So if any of you have heard of the bass player Thundercat, who I think a lot of people started to know him more from his work on Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. A lot of those songs, Thundercat's playing the bass, but very extremely talented guy. He released an album recently, and one of the songs in that album is called Dragon Ball Do-Rag, which is an amazing song title, and the song's really great itself. And the video for that song is also great, so you should go check out that video for Dragon Ball Do-Rag by Thundercat. But the video kind of goes through these 3 different vignettes where he's trying to get a woman to fall in, like different women to fall in love with him, and they always turn him away. And the last one, he's trying to get the sisters of HAIM to like get at least one of them to like want to date him. So when I was watching that video, like one of the people I recognized, Kali Uchis, because I like her music. Another person I didn't recognize, but I looked her up, and she's like a comedian, I guess. And then these 3 sisters, I looked them up, and I was like, I never heard of this group before. And so I was watching that video. I watched the video like months ago when it came out, but I was watching the video again recently, and I was like, I'll go check out their music, because I've kind of found a lot of music that way, by like listening to artists that I already like listen to, or artists that I like associate with, because I feel like if they're associating with them and they're also musicians, maybe they have like some musical ideas in common and some things I might like. So that's how I found this group. I should have said that in the beginning, but let's get back into this EP. So the first song in this EP is called Don't Wanna, and the general idea of the song is like kind of not giving up on this new relationship. So this person, like, they're newly in love, and I think at least the singer is like realizing like this probably isn't going to work out, but they don't want to give up. So it's like very straightforward. And that's like kind of another general thing about this EP is that the verses are usually very short. The choruses are usually very long. So a lot of these songs are very chorus driven, which is pretty common for pop music. But for me, that doesn't really detract, because I think they're able to express what needs to be said in the verses, and then the chorus is kind of like hammer that point in. So that's like what the first song is about. And I think that the instrumental in particular doing the chorus on that song is really great. A lot of good guitar stuff going on. The next song, I Know Alone, and that song is really about like knowing the feeling of being lonely and being alone, and in some ways being comfortable with that, but also being uncomfortable that you're comfortable with being alone, like being uncomfortable with the fact that you know what it feels like to be alone. And I think something, I don't know if this was done on purpose or not, but something interesting was that there's like slight vocal distortion on the main singer's voice. And that, to me, kind of in some ways makes it feel robotic and makes it feel like the singer's a bit distant and makes them feel less human, which I think gets back on the idea of being alone, because it's in some ways like being alone is kind of unnatural for humans, since we're very social. Most of us are very social by default. So that vocal distortion was interesting. And there's also like some electronic elements in this song throughout the instrumentation. So as I talked about, they incorporate a lot of different genres of music into what they're making. So this is a song where you can kind of pick out the electronic influence in particular. And the video for this song, it's just them standing on a basketball court, like doing choreographed dancing. And the dancing was choreographed by a guy named Francis Starlight, who's also a musician. You've probably heard him on stuff associated with Kanye West recently. So they've been working together for the past 6 years or something like that. But he also is like a really great musician. And if you've ever seen any music video of Francis Starlight dancing, and then you watch this video, it'll like immediately click. So when I watched this video, I don't think I knew that immediately, but when I saw them dancing, I like looked at the description and said like choreographed by Francis Starlight. So I was like, okay, this makes perfect sense. So that's another good song, I Know Alone. The next song is called Steps, and it's basically about a relationship where the people aren't on the same page in that relationship, and kind of what that means for the individual singing the song, which is a challenging thing when you feel like you're in love with someone and they don't really love you back the same way, or you feel like you understand them but they don't really understand you. So that's kind of what that whole song is about. And that one has this like really whiny guitar sound, which I guess kind of goes with the message of the song, because I can imagine in some ways being in that relationship, it can sound whiny at a certain point to like hear the same things over and over. Like, why don't you understand me? Why don't you love me? Like it. And the singing kind of is whining a little bit. So that's like cool that the guitar playing in some way kind of reflected the theme and the singing on that song. Next we have Now I'm In It, which is basically just about falling in love with someone, or falling for someone and coming to accept the fact that you're falling in love with them. That one's like just pretty straightforward, like kind of a straightforward pop song. The fifth song is Summer Girl, and that's the lead single for their upcoming album. And that one is so the whole idea of the Summer Girl. So Lady Gaga has a song called Summer Girl on her first album, which I'm blanking on the name of right now. Fame Monster, I think it's called. But yeah, Lady Gaga has a song called Summer Girls, and it kind of gets at the same idea of like being a summer girl is like I wrote it down so I don't forget it. You're you're only like a short time thing for that other person, even though you have strong feelings for them. So in this particular song, the way it's written is the person who's the summer girl recognizes the fact that they may not be long term for this other person, but they also recognize the fact that they have strong feelings for this other person. So it's kind of like reconciling the fact that I want more from you, but I know you don't want more from me. You just want me for this like short time period. So I guess it's kind of tragic in a way, like recognizing that fact, but still going along with it, not like cutting it off earlier. And that song has a really cool saxophone thing going on throughout the chorus. That's really neat and kind of makes that song stand out from the other songs in particular, because a lot of the other songs are bass, drum, guitar. You have some synthesizer stuff going on here and there. Sorry, and that's not to say that the instrumentation is samey throughout all the other songs. It's just that this song having the saxophone really makes it jump out. And it's the same thing for the last song on this EP. So there are only 6 songs. This last song is called Hallelujah. And that song in particular also stands out because it's kind of like a very big tonal shift from the other songs. So this one sounds like very folksy. Sounds like something Joni Mitchell would sing. So if you ever heard Joni Mitchell, like, you probably are immediately imagining what I'm getting at. And unlike the other songs, as I mentioned before, a lot of their songs are very short choruses. The choruses may be 4 to 6 lines, and then, or sorry, I take that back. The verses may be 4 to 6 lines, and then the choruses might be a lot longer. And the choruses might repeat the same line over and over, but they're still a lot longer. Whereas in this song, there are 3 very distinct verses, and each verse has its kind of own message, and that's because each verse of this song is sung by the different sisters, one of the different sisters. So on all the other songs, most of the singing is done by Danielle, but on this one, each sister has their own verse where they're kind of giving their own message, and the choruses are very short. So Danielle's verse, her verse is basically just singing about her sisters and her love for them. And the same thing for the second verse, which is sung by Estee, who is the oldest sister, is basically singing about like their sisterhood and their bond. And then the last verse is sung by the youngest sister, Alana, and that's about a dead friend who she says like she still carries with her, essentially. So this song, kind of going with the themes of the verses, I guess in some ways it makes more sense, and it's kind of more laid back, more folksy. The instrumentation is only strings, so it's either acoustic or electric guitar, or you have some more like orchestral strings in the background. So I looked at the breakdown of the track listing, but there's like cellos and violas and things like that. So this is much more of a in some ways kind of airy, like just someone like jamming in the college courtyard or something on their guitar, but it sounds really nice. So this is an album, or an EP, that I definitely will listen to again, and it makes me excited to listen to the album, which is supposed to come out on June 26th. So that's just next Friday. So yeah, maybe I'll do a video on kind of the whole album and what I think about that. But go and check out HAIM, their EP, Don't Wanna. I think it's really cool. It's pretty short, 21 minutes. So it won't take you very long to get through it. Even if you don't like the first couple songs, you're probably already halfway through it, a third through it, because it's only 6 songs. So just go and give it a listen. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next Thursday Tunes. Peace.